کیا ہوگا اور اتنے اہم نکات پہ آپ نے سیمینار کیا. یقیناً اس میں سید احمد خان صاحب نے ضرور رول ادا کیا ہوگا. مجھے لگتا ہے چونکہ اتنی اہم یہ جو ہے. اور اب جو ہمارے اگلے مقرر ہیں جو بڑے دانشور ہیں اور جن کا ہم بہت بے صبری سے انتظار بھی کر رہے ہیں, احسان الحق فاروقی صاحب ہمارے بزرگ ہیں, ہمارے درمیان میں ہیں. میں ان کو زحمت دوں گا اور ان کا جو موضوع ہے بہت اہم ہے, آپ بہت غور سے سنیں. یقین جانیے کہ ہمارے لیے آنے والے دنوں کے لیے بہت سود مند ثابت ہو سکتا ہے. اسلامی بینکنگ کے آپریشن مطلب چلانے کا طریقہ اور ہندوستان میں اس کے کیا امکانات ہیں, آپ تفصیل سے ہمارے سامنے روشنی ڈالیں گے. بہت ادب و احترام کے ساتھ جناب احسان الحق فاروقی صاحب کو دعوت دے رہا ہوں, آئیں اور اپنا اظہار خیال.
تمہارے پاس آنے لیکن کے ساتھ آئے گھر تو اٹھا کر پانی مانگا مدت
some correction in the announcement that I am not Faruqi. I am only Ahsan al-Haq. I do not any caste or any other thing. Secondly, in the program, my delegation has been voted as Joint Director of Islamic Finance and Banking Institute of Higher Subject. I have left the Institute of Higher, or now it may be said that I am an ex-Joint Director of the organization, Cartel Department. And secondly, the topic was related to me, it was in fact English, and the topic is the operational mode of Islamic banking and prospects in India. So I am giving the full paper comprising about 20 pages, but I will read here only the gist, keeping in view the paucity of the time. Now I start the topic, the operational mode of Islamic banking and prospects in India. A critical analysis of the perception of the commercial banking and its Islamic alternative reveals that the farmer relies on earning interest and the latter relies on trade trust. To explore the possibility of practicing Islamic banking in India, we need an affirmative answer to the question, is trading permitted for banks under the existing Indian law? Unfortunately, the answer is a big no, because the banking is incompatible with any other kind of business. This is not a hypothesis, but a conclusion made on the basis of the empirical fact as illustrated by the commercial disaster of 1822-28 to 32. Therefore, the Indian legislation accepted the principle of separation of banking business from any other kind of business much before the emergence of the Islamic banking. The above shortcomings can be made good by the central government by virtue of the powers vested in it by Clause O of subsection 1 or section 6 of the Banking Regulations Act 1949. Therefore, a notification in official gazette to expand the list of forms of business in which a banking company may engage, in addition to the business of banking, to include investment deposits, trading of goods, mudarba, musharaka, muraba, and salam, etc. This does not require any legal amendment. However, issuing a notification may not be a healthy proposition for the reason: firstly, combination of banking with trading has been found to be fertile as stated above, and secondly, musharaka and mudarba contracts of models of Islamic banking have been non-feasible for the last 3 decades as explained in the later part of this paper. And lastly, the government may invite a backlash from the opposition for diverting Islamic banking from the back door instead of seeking its permission on the floor of the parliament. Even in the presence of such a wide difference between the banking law and principles of Islamic banking, there is much common between the two. Therefore, we should accept the conventional banking practices which are fully Sharia compliant, reject which do not comply, and accept the others after making a few minor amendments. Keeping this in view, an attempt has been made to analyze the banking law and credit policy of the Reserve Bank of India and to suggest some amendments here. Some amendments have also been suggested in the model of Islamic banking to make the bank compatible with the law without losing its Islamic character. Thus, a department
भाई माइक वाले कहाँ हैं? माइक वाले
model legally permissible, financially viable, and Sharia compliant. Let us first discuss what the banking is. According to English banking law and Indian banking law, banking means accepting deposit of by checks on demand. To make this more clear, I will quote a court case as a in Truppan Jitya versus Soha Sundar Jitya, 1961. The recent day said the essence of the relationship of bankers and customers is the affording of facility to the customer to draw funds from the bank by issuing checks. This is primary characteristic of a banking business. Without it, the business is not of banking as known and understood in the English law. This means that all other functions which a bank performs are auxiliary or incidental to the main business of the banking. Thus, borrowing and lending is not the distinctive feature of the banking. Distinctive feature of the banking, as Sachdeva has said, this is allowing a facility to keep deposit which can be withdrawn by the check. This is the main feature of the banking. Without this, there can be no bank. Thus, main business of the banking is common in Islamic banking and the conventional banking. However, Section 24 of Banking Regulations Act 1949 regarding statutory liquidity ratio and Section 42 of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 regarding cash reserve ratio force or may force a banking company to involve in or support the business of interest. The solution lies in keeping of 100% reserve ratio in government's account. Instead of keeping proportionate reserve, we may keep 100% reserve in government account for the accounts in which the deposit can be obtained, which can be withdrawn by the check. Fortunately, there exists an example of keeping 100% reserve in government's account in India in the shape of Post Office Savings Bank account. The Post Office Savings Bank accepts the deposit from the public for the government in demand deposit accounts which can be withdrawn by check. As such, it has been included in the definition of banking under preliminary class 4 of Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. The government utilizes the float for financing its deficit budget and compensates the post office on actual cost basis. The idea of 100% reserve requirement is not the exclusive concept of Islamic banking. The 100% reserve requirement has been provided in one of the models of the Islamic banking, as has been suggested by Islamic economists. So this is the idea which is known as Islamic banking idea. Now this is not the exclusive idea of the Islamic banking. The idea of 100% reserve requirement is not the exclusive concept of Islamic banking. Some contemporary economists, notably Milton Friedman, has already advocated such a system. Here we suggest